let's move on.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Tempers are starting to rise. I think it's time to move on to our third quarter.
All right.
Where we're going to continue our conversation of the greatest player at each position. Again, we're only doing top 5. Some players' names might not come up. We're going to be talking about the greatest small forwards of all time. Let's talk about who number 1 is. So, to me...
Stop it. Just don't do this.
LeBron James is number 1.
Thank you. Not a question.
Okay. So, let's talk about a couple players and then let's make our top 5. Lamar, can you talk about Elgin Baylor?
Oh, man. All right. Elgin Baylor, right? You're talking about the original man to run the court. Like, when the ball came off, Magic Johnson took the middle of the court, he was looking for Elgin. Because Elgin was right there with him. You're talking about for a guy from end to end that could just get to the bucket in a minute.
Magic Johnson was one. If you haven't seen our point guards, one, check that out. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, and Elgin was a great because he was a small forward, but he had an outstanding post game. He was in the paint at will. And no one could figure out how to stop him. He didn't have a great jumper, but it didn't matter because he was like, I'm going to the hole. You can't stop me.
How tall was he? Was he Magic size?
He was like 6'6" or 6'7". He was around that.
That's so crazy. It's still crazy to me that like
but
Magic.
Yeah, man.
And then his small forward.
But the thing was, Elgin could run. He ran like a deer, and so he would get the ball, and his finishing ability was that good. Everyone was like, man. So even the bad boy Pistons were talking about, they were like, Magic's great, but we got to deal with Elgin, well, what are we going to do with that bull? And they had Kareem and all those good players, but Elgin was the scoring guy. Like, he was giving people the work. So, I mean, in my opinion, he's top 5. Elgin Baylor was a force.
Okay.
In the goggles, too. In the goggles, he was force.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man.
Horace Grant, man. Horace Grant with the goggles, man.
He sure did.
All right, Jeremy, who are we talking about next? Take your pick.
I want to talk about James Worthy.
Okay.
James Worthy, for one, he's one of the most underrated just players in general. He bad man.
Why is he underrated?
I mean, it's kind of the same reason why Pippen's underrated. They don't really can't really explain it, but basically they overlook him. I mean, he's very overlooked when it comes to like.
Is that because he was on the?
I agree with you. But I think James Worthy was more athletic than Pippen.
True,
I really do.
But Pippen. So the thing about, and I was supposed to be talking about Worthy, but Pippen. I actually looked this up, man. Dude was guarding the other team's best defender, best player, and still averaging 17 to 22 points a game.
Completely agree with that.
So I'm
Pippen was one of the best two-way players to ever play the game.
Some people compare James Worthy's spin move to the Tasmanian Devil. That's just a side note.
Tasmanian Devil.
Keep going.
But no, I totally think James Worthy is.
He's a 3-time champion.
He's 3 times.
Was he overlooked? Is he underrated because of the players he played with?
That's exactly why.
That's
why Pippen is, But,
right.
That's exactly why. So
he has the biggest shadow, though. But we'll get to him in a second.
Worthy. I mean, I'll announce my top 5, but I mean he's up there.
Okay, let's talk about Pippen. Let's talk about Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, man.
Top 50 player of all time.
Yes. Absolutely.
Skip Bayless.
Absolutely.
I just want to throw that in there real quick.
Absolutely. Anyone who says he isn't, it doesn't really know basketball.
He literally had the biggest shadow that he was going against.
Yeah.
And he still did his thing.
Yeah.
Woo!
What was it? They were talking about when Jordan left those 2 years. The Bulls were still
in the
conference finals. Conference finals for the years. Guess who was leading them? Scottie Pippen. Yeah. Like, come on, people.
Yeah.
Like,
I put something on Facebook, and the guy was like, "Well, he only had those 2 good years." I'm like, dude, if you look at Scottie Pippen's prime, and from 91 to 98, he averaged between 17 to 22 points.
Is Pippen the greatest defensive player on this list?
In my opinion.
Well, if you're talking about a guy that can defend multiple positions, and honestly, he would shut people down. There was no slowing down. He was shutting them down because of his length. He was so lengthy and he was quick. So
I feel like that was a shot at some of the things that I've said over past shows about players slowing other players down. Specifically talking about my team, but we're gonna let that go. All right. So Scottie Pippen, I think he's right in the conversation for top 5.
Scottie Pippen, he's in my top 5.
We'll see where he winds up. We'll see where he winds up. Lamar, anyone else you want to talk about?
Look, I hate to say it, but he was a bad boy. Larry Bird was a bad man. You know, like watching some of those games back, because it made you mad because you knew what Larry was going to do. It
didn't make me mad.
That down screen was coming. You knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. It didn't matter. He looked at, like, Larry Bird would look you in the face and be like, I'm gonna take this screen, I'm gonna J it right in your face, and it would go in, and there was nothing you could do about it.
Greatest shooter ever?
He's up there. I mean, if you put Steph Curry there, I'll put Bird and Allen, man. There's like 180.
Okay, there we go.
Can I say not best shooter, but most pure jump shot?
Is that fair? Shooter basketball.
I agree with you.
But
you know, because again, I think the best shooter of all time is Steph Curry because not only is it form, but he can shoot from wherever.
Gotcha. So you're saying Bird is the purest jump shooter
between him and Ray Allen.
I'm okay with this, but what is Ray Allen the best at? Because those three, I mean, if I could have one of those three shooting my threes all day, I'm saying yeah, sure. Like,
right. I don't care.
Who wants to play right now?
But not only that, like Larry Bird had that toughness. Like that is Boston Celtic basketball, where you look at a guy and you're like, I don't know how he does it, but he kills you all the time.
He had all kinds of game winners,
right?
Playoff game winners,
and he's only jumping but this high off and he's still giving you the business.
He had that it was.
Then he'd look at you. He had this look. He was like,
"Oh, Larry Bird,
Larry
he
Bird's
one of the best trash talkers of all time."
Right, but he was so quiet about it. That's what
Right.
Oh man,
French lick.
I didn't realize he was a 3-time MVP, like regular season MVP. Yeah. That's cool. Obviously 3-time champ.
Yeah.
24 points per game. Like, I mean, he was doing everything. Someone else you want to talk about?
Talk about KD.
Okay.
Kevin, 7 foot. People list him at 6'9", which is atrocious. He's 7 foot.
With them arms too.
Right. I mean, I think Iguodala said, man, Kevin Durant's like one of the he can get you 30 and shoot like 12 shots. He's like one of the most efficient scorers.
Yeah.
And on this list. And his defense has gotten better, which was one of his, I guess, I won't say Achilles heel, but it was something that he needed to work on. He's got a lot better.
Especially these last couple years.
Yeah,
he's been chasing down people.
Yeah.
Woo.
And now he has he has this little, burner accounts or whatever he has.
Gosh.
But,
his burner. His burner.
But I like KD, man. He's a cheat code. I call him a cheat code. 7 foot, pull up from anywhere. Mid range is nasty.
Okay.
Say no more.
I got you. What about John Havlicek? Wait. Before we go on to that, before KD won his championships in Golden State, would you still put him on this list?
Yeah. I'd have honored.
We haven't talked about Dominique Wilkins either, but we're talking about a freak of nature. Like, you don't see people that tall, that's that athletic, shooting the basketball the way that he can.
Yeah. I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the championships, to me at least, would raise his
elevator.
Oh, it definitely does.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can we talk about John Havlicek? He was the small forward for the Celtics teams. I mean, he has 8 championships. In the couple championships they won the 70s, he was the best player on that team. He did it all. 8-time champion. What more do you want? What more do you want me to say? Now I know it's cheating because it's the Celtics in the 60s, but still.
Hey, you got to
someone's
include him in
win.
there.
Someone's got to
include him in there.
Okay, I think Havlicek deserves a conversation for it.
We didn't even talk about Dr. J either.
Is that where you want to go next?
Oh man, just Dr. J was.
He's literally called the doctor.
Yeah.
What you want?
You make you had an ugly face.
Right,
yeah, he's bad man.
And a big thing with winning championships in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, when it was either the Celtics or it was the Lakers or it was the Pistons or it was the Bulls. If you have a championship outside of those,
you're the man.
That's huge.
You're the man.
That's huge.
Yeah, you're the man.
Because you led your team past those teams.
Right.
That's big.
Man, and Every time I think about Julius Erving, you got to think about when his hand went behind the backboard and just oh man! Every time I look at that, I'm like, how? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I remember he dunked on Michael Cooper, bro.
Ooh, ooh,
he dunked on Michael Cooper. He cocked it.
And Michael Cooper was just like he wasn't even mad. He was just like.
Yeah, bro. I was like, dude, you should have made that business decision,
right.
bro.
Like sometimes you gotta look at him. You know, Jason Terry was another guy who should have taken a business decision when LeBron dunked on him. When
Anyways.
but Dave, why he looked?
But Julius Erving's definitely
paying any attention to that one. But yeah. Oh, and of course Dominique Wilkins. You know.
Yeah.
But you know what? Dominique was a good player, but I feel like we really recognize him for bringing the slam dunk. What it was, you know, and y'all may disagree, but in my opinion, like, again, freak of nature athlete, up there with like Sean Kemp, like freak of nature people who can run the court and play basketball. But
he is the perfect example of someone that was going against those teams, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Pistons, the Bulls.
Couldn't get over it.
Couldn't get past it. And I say that is just the Celtics and the obviously because they were in the East, right?
On the Bulls were too, yeah.
Bulls
in the
East.
East.
Yeah.
Oh shoot!
Those are all Eastern. Those are all Eastern Conference teams. Yeah, like,
man, I wish I was live that time. Anyway, no, I totally get what you're saying. 9-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA. He was a scoring champion. 25 points per game. I mean, I get it. His dunking was his thing.
Right.
Is he top 5? Probably not.
No.
Is he an all-time great? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only one that's on our list that we haven't talked about is Rick Barry.
Did he shoot the
shooter, man?
Was he underhand?
I think he did it one time.
Underhand free throws.
Underhand free throws, but his jump shot.
His jump.
Was pure.
Yeah, I remember his jump shot.
Pure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised we haven't talked about.
So there's one more player that I wanted to, just because of the disrespect. He is not in my top 5. He might not even be in my top 10. But he's right after it. My boy Paul Pierce. That is the truth. The truth is, he's no lower than maybe 12. You can give me 2 more names. You can give me one more name. I would love to hear it. And Jeremy, this is where you start getting ready. Because you might have to slide back.
And you can get mad, but I'm going to tell you. Kawhi Leonard is a better player than Paul Pierce.
You can get comfortable. Because as of right now, no, excuse me. As of his potential, what we've seen, absolutely.
I would take Kawhi Leonard and Rick Barry over Paul Pierce.
I wouldn't. The Paul Pierce of 2003 until like 2010 was a bad man. He was doing everything.
What do you mean by everything?
He was scoring. He was getting to the basket. He was leading that team.
When we say everything, we're talking about two-way players, guys that can do it all.
You know how.
And you said everything, Kawhi. And I was like, you're telling me Paul Pierce played defense?
Everything on the offensive end. He wasn't a bad defensive player.
No, but he was.
He wasn't a Kawhi.
I heard he had some problems, staying in shape sometimes. Paul Pierce. He had some issues. He got a little.
I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to let it happen.
You know I'm right, though. Those reports were out.
I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let it get
Those reports were out there.
I'm not going to let it get
You saw where he was pudgy in some of them games, especially
early
in the season.
I'm not going to let it get me.
You saw it.
You're going to stop right now.
He would run down the floor, and he'd be like,
If you ever wondered why 17-16 is a title. Anyway.
Man.
I think I would, in an all-time small forwards list, Kawhi Leonard is not above him. If Kawhi Leonard comes back and plays like Kawhi Leonard did in San Antonio, sure, in a few years, absolutely, okay. I could definitely see it because I think Kawhi is the best two-way player in the league. He might even be the best two-way player that I can think of in my recent memory.
I feel bad. You're right. I feel bad for it. It should have been LeBron James. But darn Cleveland, because he had to do so much on offense, he couldn't give the same effort on defense anymore.
Right.
I watched LeBron, and you can tell he wants to go for stuff, and he's like, I can't. I gotta conserve energy, and they zapped him on the defensive end, man.
Right.
They zapped him.
So, 11, 12. Can we put Paul Pierce at 11 or 12? 11.
12.
Who's 11? Who's 12?
I'm putting Kawhi Leonard above.
How many on that list? 1, 2, 3.
There's 10 on that list. So hold on. Let me see if I can find some more names.
Okay.
You know, this really isn't important, but it's important. Okay.
But we still got to do our top 5.
Yeah. Whatever.
Whatever.
I think I just won another iPad. So other names that could potentially be considered on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Bernard King, I'm unfamiliar.
Oh, we have the Knicks.
It has Tracy McGrady on this list.
Yeah.
Has Vince Carter. It does have Kawhi, Alex English, Carmelo,
No.
Chris Mullin. Has Clyde Drexler, Grant Hill, Paul George. These are just names that are showing up on this list.
Grant Hill was the man who just
Grant Hill would definitely be.
If not for injuries, I think he would have had a chance.
What about Peja Stojakovic?
No.
Peja Stojakovic lot.
You want to ring with the Mavs?
Van Horn?
Stop it.
See,
No.
to my point,
I can put him 12.
who is 11?
I can put him 12.
Kawhi.
Who's 11?
Kawhi.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
I put Kawhi over him.
I can't be super upset. Let's make our top 5.
Okay.
Let's make our top 5. Number 1's LeBron.
Yes.
Number 2, I propose Larry Bird.
Okay.
Objections.
You good?
I really want to, but I can't.
Yeah.
I cannot
you
do
good
it.
so far.
I
Good.
cannot do it.
Because you want to see me go off. Number 3, who's got a proposition for number 3?
Dr. J.
Dr. J? Let me take a look. Oof. Let's see.
Either him or Worthy.
It won't be Worthy. I won't put Worthy that high.
Really? You don't think Worthy was?
I don't put word to that.
Not that high. Not number
know.
3. Not number
Worthy
3.
was tough.
Honestly, either him or KD.
What?
Yeah.
Over Elgin? And Scotty?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, you put
Yeah.
over Scottie Pippen?
KD is the lead. I get it. Obviously, it's not Pippen's fault, but KD's been scoring champ. KD literally, he does on the offensive end, he does everything. I would consider putting Scotty above because you know how I love defense.
Yeah, I put Scotty above.
I would.
I need to see Durant play defense a little bit longer. Here's
the thing. After his soft move, cool, great, awesome. Not in our top 5. Let's move on from him.
Oh,
Because I'm not gonna sit here and defend him.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
So you would take him out of your top 5 only because of the soft move?
Oh, you guys think he's not top 5? Oh, that's cool. Imitating the softness that is Kevin Durant.
Burner account.
So
17-year-old.
who are we putting at number 3? I'm gonna say Dr. J. Lamar, you want to fight for your boys?
Man,
You can. You just
I wish I really do. I would personally put Baylor and Worthy above, but I can't really argue too much with Dr. J being 3. Dr. J was Dr. J.
Wait, did you say you put 2 people above him?
Well, I only say that because when I think of a small forward, I think of a guy that needs to play both sides of that's your big time stopper. You go, hey, I need him to be shut down, and you're like, so I would, I put people like Pippen and Worthy maybe a little bit higher, but I think when I really sit down and think about it, you got to put Dr. J, just because of what he means to basketball. It's I don't want to put him, but I have to, Mm-hmm. It's like Larry Bird. I don't want to put Larry Bird number 2. He's a Celtic, but
come on.
I got it.
Oh, come on.
You're bigger than that, Lamar.
I gotta put him in the 2 slot. I gotta do it. I'm gonna
that.
cry when I'm doing it, but I'm like,
You can't just do that.
Larry, you're the man.
All right, Dr. J.
Yeah, Dr. J.
Dr. J's number 3. Number 4.
Pip.
Yeah, somewhere between Worthy, Pippen, and
We still haven't mentioned one name that I thought you really liked. Elgin Baylor.
And Elgin, yeah. Between those 3, somewhere in that range.
Pippen for me, I feel like I'd put him below Baylor.
Think so?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just looking at the sheer numbers. Obviously, that time wasn't our forte.
Right.
That's not our forte.
Right.
So all I can really go off of is the little bit of video that we've seen, that I've seen personally, and the numbers. Elgin Baylor averaged 27 points per game. That's one of the highest on this list. And it's
working.
It's
working, man.
That's 11. That's 11 points higher than Scotty.
Like that man would go to the game and be like, "I'm gonna work you. I'm gonna work you."
I get it, but Scotty was putting in the effort on the defensive end and still averaging 18 to 20 points.
I would put Elgin 4. That's
I've got one more that's gonna, for me, it will cement him in there. I just read this. Rebounds per game, Elgin is 13.5.
Yep.
Scotty is 6.4. That's a huge difference.
Elgin saw the ball. Elgin got the ball. Like that was
That's
as
true.
simple as it got in that time.
Elgin Baylor for me is going in the 4.
Okay.
He's 4.
You okay with that?
I can agree with that. Yeah.
5. Scotty Pippen.
Scotty, yeah.
Scotty Pippen. Okay.
Scotty has to be top 5.
Now let's say this. Let's ask this question. How far is Kevin Durant from cracking in the top 5?
I mean, I tried to put him at 3. So
seriously, how far is he?
He's there. He's like 5 is here. He's here.
You can hear it. You can hear the door.
Right, like he's right
He's
there.
knocking.
You hear it? Like that was KD. Actually, hold on. I gotta do better. Oh, you couldn't hear it? Sorry, he was knocking too soft.
Oh, man, that's cold. Well, eventually he's got to leave and then win a chip.
Yeah.
If he wins the chip,
he's got to leave and win a chip.
Going to Washington. Going home.
Think so?
Going
I
home.
think he goes back to OKC somehow.
I think he's gonna call Don Wall and Bradley Beal. He's gonna have 2 phones.
Yep, he's gonna like
Guys,
get
please.
Dwight Howard out of there.
Guys,
First
no,
off.
he's gonna have Dwight on the other one.
No, he's gonna call
like,
Dwight.
guys,
You going somewhere?
Yeah, you leaving?
You're leaving.
Yeah.
And then anyway,
That's where I think he's gonna go.
That's fair.
Yeah, so to recap, our 5 is Paul Pierce.
Stop.
He's the 0.
Yeah,
LeBron.
He is a 0. You're right.
LeBron. Larry Bird.
Yep.
Dr. J.
Yep.
Elgin Baylor.
That's right. Woo,
And the great Scottie Pippen.
That is an outstanding top 5,
Good.
y'all.
Yeah, it is.
That's like right up there with the point guards. I think.
and Worthy's like on the outside.
I'm taking
Worthy's right there, but I can't put him above Pippen. I can't.
I'm taking that number 0. Whew. Anyway.